In this little video, I'm going to show you the first steps for beginning how to crochet. I've got my hook and I've got a little ball of wool, and so we're ready to begin. I'm going to start by joining my yarn to my hook. So we're going to start with a slip knot. I'm going to do this with about 10 centimeters of yarn. I'm just going to run that over my two fingers and create a cross, which I'm going to anchor with my thumb. I'm going to slip my fingers out and from the back push through the yarn, through that loop, hold on to that and then just pull it down firmly to create my slip knot. So now I can join that to my hook. There's two main ways for holding the hook. You can either hold it like a knife with your hand over the top or underneath like a pen. I prefer to hold it in this position. And it's really up to you which way you do it. It won't really affect the overall crochet technique. It's more just what way you find most comfortable. Our left hand is where we hold the yarn, and this is a little bit more tricky to start with and takes a bit of practice. The reason is because when we start using the thread in order to make our chains or our stitches in crochet, we have to use a nice neat tension thread, which is this thread here, to create nice even stitches. Without having a tension thread, if we just try doing it by placing the yarn over and pulling it through, you'll see there's nothing pulling against the thread, and so it makes it a very floppy and very irregular looking stitch. So the way we hold the yarn in the left hand is actually quite important. So let me just take it back down to the slip knot that we did and look at the ways of holding it with our left hand. There's lots of different techniques for holding it, and I'm going to show you one very simple one. So I'm going to just, with my hand facing up, just wrap the yarn around my little finger and then turn my hand over and just let it be drawn across the top of my fingers. Then with my index finger, I'm going to lift that, and you can see already what happens is a thread appears, a single thread. Now at the moment, this still feels very distant from my right hand and it feels very floppy. So I do need to now feel a way of connecting the two. And the way I'm going to do this is by using my middle finger and my thumb. And I'm going to bring those two together and pinch them, and actually pinch that slip knot we did at the beginning. Now already you can see my hand is now in a really good position, and you can see I've got this clear thread which will now be ready to use. My right hand I can even take away. When we start working with crochet, the right hand will only be working with the hook, and it's the left hand is really important for the way we hold the wool or the yarn and the way that we work our stitches, and it's using this tension thread which is going to make all the difference. So now I'm ready to actually work a chain. So with my hook, I'm now going to take my hook from the left anti-clockwise and take it underneath that thread. You can see it's now laying over the top of my hook. And then I've just turned it to its side, and I'm going to gently now pull the hook down. And as I do, you can see the thread gets caught in that crook at the top of the hook. I'm going to gently pull it down and take it through that first slip knot that I made, and I've made my first chain. So let me just do that again. So I'm turning it over to the side, going underneath the thread so that the thread is now lying over the hook, and then I'm just going to slowly bring it down, draw down the hook, pull it down and catch it in the crook and through the chain. So I've now made two chains. It's beginning to feel a little bit floppy now, so what I'm going to do with my middle finger and my thumb, I'm just going to jump up a step to the last chain, and immediately it feels more secure again. So let's do that once more. Left and under and pull down. If you find that the chains are very, very tight, you can just ease them by lifting your hook up a bit. It's like a lever. You can see as I lift my hook, I can open up the chain. And as I move this finger up a little bit, I can tighten the chain. So you can really manipulate the yarn and the size of the chain quite easily by moving the finger and the hook independently. So let's do that again. Left, under, anti-clockwise, yarn goes over the hook, and then bring down your hook, and that catches in the top of the crook of the hook and down through the chain. So you can see already I'm beginning to now make my foundation chain or base chain to begin any project. So a few more of those. And you can see the moment it gets a little bit floppy, I jump up with my middle finger and my thumb to secure it. If you find that this finger position feels a little bit uncomfortable, you can try another one where you use your middle finger. So let's try that one. So I'm going to wrap it around my finger, and this time I'm going to turn my hand over and I'm going to bring my middle finger up and use my first finger and thumb to do the pinching. It works exactly the same way. You can still see there's that nice tension thread there, but this time I'm going to support the chain using my index finger and my thumb. So let's just do that a couple of times exactly the same way. Whoops. I'm more comfortable with the other way, so let me just do it again. And as I'm doing these chains, I'm letting that thread feed through my fingers. So I'm going to go back to my other way, which is wrap it around my little finger. And either I can turn my hand and draw it right across the back of my hand, or I can just do it simply by bringing it over the one finger on its own. Then I bring together my middle finger and my thumb to make it feel nice and secure. And then it just takes practice to continue making chains, and you want to make them as smooth and as even as possible.